Look, I completely understand. You don't want to be a peasant anymore. And I'm happy that you're here because I want you to understand that it doesn't matter what you're going through. Quite literally, nobody cares about what's going on in your life. I mean, you need to understand that everybody goes through shit. So the idea that your shit is more shitty than everyone else's and that you deserve some kind of attention is delusional. It's craziness. It's nonsense. Nothing you can do is going to really change your life until you make a internal shift in which you see yourself. You cannot expect your life to change by doing something physical. Now, the physical actions that you take are just a byproduct of how you see yourself. So the biggest thing that you must come to understand in this exact moment in time is your self-concept. You might say that you're not a peasant, that you don't see yourself as a brokey, but you are subconsciously agreeing with how you view yourself, regardless of how you define yourself. Somewhere inside of your mind, somewhere inside of your subconscious mind, you talk to yourself like a broke bitch. You talk to yourself like you're a peasant. You imagine yourself from the perspective of a peasant. And what is a peasant? A peasant is somebody who serves the person they want to be. They are at the mercy of their master. They do everything for the master. They make the master feel better. They tend to every need that this master needs. They're the ones who retrieve the things that the master wants. They are just a pawn in this master's life. So you literally see yourself doing the things that a peasant does for the master, the person that you want to be. And it's so ironic because the only thing that you need to do, and please take this with a grain of salt, because I obviously understand, and I obviously don't mean that you just need to change your self-concept and then all of a sudden, boom, everything is fixed. No, you got to take action upon your new self-concept. But it is 100% truthful that this is the only thing that you genuinely need to do in order to change your life, in order to stop being a peasant and become the master of your life. You, starting at this exact moment in time, have to change how you mentally perceive yourself in the world. That is number one. Number two, you need to physically change the way you interact with your mind in the world. And number three, you need to spiritually see yourself living a completely different life. So number one, mentally, you cannot identify as a peasant anymore. What does this mean? This means you cannot think to yourself like you're a peasant. You cannot convince yourself that you deserve this because this is just the status of who you are. That, oh, my car broke down because I don't have money to fix my car and to get a new car because I work at McDonald's and I hate my fucking life. You need to cut that shit out right now. Because if you do not stop talking to yourself like that, you will continue to find yourself living from that place. Physically, you need to remove yourself from McDonald's and you need to put yourself in a new environment where you're learning something more valuable than serving people poison food that's killing them. So for me, I used to serve, and I was tired of serving people food that I couldn't afford. So I ended up getting a job. I was working for somebody who was paying me more, and I was learning a skill that eventually led me to build my own business, which is a painting business that paid me more than I have ever made in my entire life. So physically, I removed myself from a job that didn't treat me like a master. And I decided to become the master and build my own business after I had developed a skill for myself. So you too, you have to remove yourself from McDonald's, from fucking Burger King or 7-Eleven or some gas station job that is pointless, that doesn't really do anything for you. Keep in mind, with the technology that's coming out these days, most of the time I see somebody working at a gas station I don't understand because I don't even buy, when I buy something, I scan it and I pay for it myself. I don't even talk to the register. I understand that there needs to be people there to manage and whatnot, but like, what are you doing there? you're making 15 bucks an hour and you're complaining about your situation, you're not going to do anything if you stay at that job. You have to understand, which ties into the next part of what I'm going to talk about. If you cannot imagine yourself working another job, then you're fucked. You're genuinely fucked. Because number 3 is the spiritual part of this. If you do not have the capacity to imagine yourself doing something physical that rewards you more than you have ever rewarded yourself before, you're just fucked, because you will never do something that you first cannot spiritually see yourself doing. So you have to align your mentally, you need to talk to yourself as if you are a business owner. Physically, you need to act as a business owner, and spiritually, you need to see and fully embrace yourself as a business owner and understand that there is nothing stopping you from being the person that you want to be. Furthermore, hear me please. Furthermore, you need to get to the point where it's insane to think that you would work at a gas station or a fast food restaurant or some factory that treats you like fucking shit. Like, it has to be so insane to think about. Because spiritually, you are so rooted in this identity in which you are the master of your life. Therefore, you are doing the thing that you want to do, owning the business that you want for yourself, playing in the leagues that you want for yourself, competing at the highest level possible. Now, quickly, I want to say something about people who work in those jobs. Just because you're there does not mean you are a peasant. Please understand that. This might be where you are right now, but just because that's who you are right now does not mean that you can't be somebody else. It's so annoying hearing people try to convince themselves that this is who they are and this is what they're stuck with. So if you continue to bitch about your situation and continue to convince yourself that this is just who I am, you're fucked. Because if you cannot remove yourself from that situation and you continue to keep yourself in this prison, you're never going to do the things that you see people on the internet doing. Because I know you're on the internet, I know you're on social media, I know you're looking at people doing the things that you want to do for yourself, but you're talking shit about them. You're saying how lucky they are and how their situation was more convenient versus your situation, and how the gods just chose them. That's fucking bullshit. No, they did the work that you're not doing. It's simple as that. It really is as simple as that. There are plenty of people in my life who have more privilege than those who are making more money than them. And it's insanity to me, because they don't understand how much privilege they have. Being born in this country with the opportunities that are all around them in a relatively stable home versus other people that I work with who have had to literally come from South America to work here. They do far better than those who are here, than the local people I know. And they complain. Meanwhile, the subcontractors that I work with, they literally come from South America, who in some cases don't have parents, had really challenging upbringings. They don't complain. They don't point fingers. No, they choose a dream for themselves. They speak to themselves as if that's who they are, because at this point it really is who they are. Physically, they get up after working a 15-hour shift. Not even a shift, they work 15 hours a day sometimes. They get up and do it again. Again and again and again. And they have the skill to do it, and the work speaks for themselves. And this isn't for everyone that I work with. I've had to let go of some peasants because they're just not showing up the way we agreed that they were supposed to show up. But for the ones who do show up, and the ones that do prove that they're here to get their bag, they deserve to be here. But my point is that there are people, locals, who have more privilege than the people coming up from South America, who complain more And it's actually insanity, because imagine yourself in that situation. You come from a third world country. Your parents are dead. You're coming from a gang ridden area where it's straight up survival. And then somehow, miraculously, you find yourself in America with an amazing attitude, a vibrant attitude, an abundant attitude. And I believe it has everything to do with seeing the contrast in life. They've seen how bad life can be. And they understand that if I am mentally, physically, and spiritually rooted in this garbage, well, I'm going to get more of that garbage. So they understand what it's like to be down so bad. They understand what it's like to be a peasant. Then they come to America. They have the opposite. They have abundance. They have safety. They have opportunity. They have equality. And because they have this contrast, they have no desire to victimize themselves in the past that they experience. No, they look at the world, they grab it by the fucking nuts, and they say, I'm making this shit work because I can. I survived something that most people do not survive. I'm here now making thousands of dollars on a weekly basis, especially in the summer. You're making 6 figures every 2 weeks. Our highest month was our highest like week was like $125,000 or something like that. I think it was $250K in 2 weeks last summer. It's insane how much money you can make in such a short amount of time. And I can tell you now, peasants have no concept of this. They cannot mentally handle having a conversation with themselves inside of their mind about making $250K in revenue, which profit-wise is around, I'd say 90 to 100K-ish for us, which is a lot of money in 2 weeks, split amongst my 2 brothers and my dad. The other half was going to subs, so profit for them was probably similar, very similar. But peasants cannot they cannot conversate with themselves about making that much money. They cannot physically take the action because spiritually, the reality that they are in is in a world of peasantry, poverty, victimization, depression, and loathing some. You know what I'm trying to say. They loathe every single day. They sit in a room and complain and drink and get high and fucking jerk off and do things that just drain their energy. And it makes me very proud to be where I'm at working with the people that I'm working with, because we have a common goal in mind: to be the masters of our reality, to be the choosers of what it is that we experience. And working with people like that, it is so invigorating. It is so motivating. It is so inspiring to be around those people, because they have a dream and they go get it. It's not that I can't be around peasants. I will happily, joyfully help a peasant get to become the master of their reality at any moment in time. But if you're not willing to show up the way a master would, then you could fuck off respectfully. I'm not going to waste my time on your shitty attitude when people have far worse situations and circumstances than you could possibly imagine. Like, who do you think you are? You think that you deserve some special treatment and some special attention? You have more privilege than you can understand. So why in the world would God or the universe give you the things that you want when you can't even give yourself the very things that create the opportunities to present themselves to you? Why would God look at you and say, yes, you are worthy of getting this, and that, when you can't even get yourself to the bathroom to clean yourself off? Or you can't stop blaming successful people and thinking that they're only doing illegal activities. Why would God give you the opportunities when you look at the world in a completely and utterly negative way. You do not deserve it. If you find success in that state of mind, you will ruin it, because the place that you're operating from is tainted. It is broken. And the actions and everything that comes after you will follow suit. And you will hurt people. You will provide a shitty service, and the clients will not want you back because your work is terrible. Your car will break down. Your friends will talk shit about you. You will be hit with unexpected bills that you do not know where they came from because you probably were too high or something to take notice of it. And this is the part where I uplift you, because as awful as you might be right now, you have the capacity and the capabilities of being the master of your life. You have the opportunity to be the health that you need. You have the opportunity to be the grace that you need. You have the opportunity to give yourself the compassion to yourself that you need to become the master of your life. No one is going to give it to you. God is not going to give it to you. Why do billions of people pray to God and continue to suffer? Because they are not being the equivalent of what they're praying for. So as much of a peasant as you might be, you are also simultaneously a wonderful, beautiful, vibrant master in which you get to create harmony in this world. And that takes responsibility, and that takes a deep level of care to yourself first. And through you giving yourself care, you will then give the world the same type of care back. So, as challenging as this might be for you to hear, please understand what I am saying. You hold the keys to the kingdom. You hold the keys to everything that you need for yourself. And again, it starts with a mentally conversating with yourself as if you are a master. A master does not speak down on themselves. A master does not taint God's creation. You are made in the image and likeness of God. God can be anything, but God is ultimately good, because when you understand that you are made in the image and likeness of God, you are the decider of your fate. Therefore, why would you do anything to make you suffer? That is not God, because God is aware of what actions produce certain results. And God is aware that if I treat people with respect, because I love this world and I love people, I will be treated the same way. Not because I'm trying to receive something from people, but because I like the way it feels. God will reward you for taking the necessary steps to produce a business where you deliver a fantastic service, where you will then be compensated for your fantastic service, and you will make thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars. You are the one who gets to decide this. And you have to treat yourself as a master. So, physically, a master does not sit in his room or her room and touch themselves relentlessly and releasing all of their sexual energy for no reason. Secondly, physically, you're not stuffing yourself with Twinkies and filling your body with poison. No, a master is filling their body with nutritious whole foods, getting proper sleep, not watching pornography, not watching anything that is just hedonistic. Physically, a master feeds them right, or exercises, learns some martial arts, or goes to the gym to lift weights, just does something to keep their body healthy. Now, number 3, spiritually, a master will see themselves in the spiritual identity in which they want themselves to be in, which means you can imagine yourself being, doing, and having the things that you want for yourself. A peasant cannot conceive any idea outside of who and what they are right now. They are stuck as a peasant, and they are stuck receiving peasant things. But a master could change their identity to anyone they want. If you want to learn a language, they have the capacity to see themselves as someone who speaks that language. And it's not a crazy idea. It just is. A master can see themselves getting a black belt in jiu-jitsu in record time. A master can see themselves building $1 million company in less than 2 years, in less than a year, in less than 6 months. Fuck. There's no limit to what is possible as a master. You have everything that you need. And this is the most important thing to any form of success. And I can never drive this point home because we are all conditioned to live physically rather than spiritually. We are all conditioned to live based off of the evidences of our senses rather than the evidence of our spirit desires. You will never have the physical equivalent without creating the mental equivalent first. Period. There is nothing you can do without changing your self-concept to match the desired end. There's nothing you can do. You have to have that self-concept, and you have to be fully devoted to it. You have to be fully embedded in that desire for yourself, that version of yourself, that self-image of yourself first, which means everything we just discussed. It's insane to think any other way than that which you want for yourself. So if you want to be a master, it is insanity to think from a peasant's perspective because your body is just completely engrossed in what it's like to be a master. And there's nothing more powerful than that feeling. So I really encourage you to give yourself compassion, grace, kindness, forgiveness if you identify with yourself as a peasant, because you will never stop being a peasant until you do the inner work to forgive yourself for being a peasant in the first place. And from that point, you then start to operate from a master's perspective, from the master's way. Everything you do works. You are happy for all the opportunities around you. You are grateful for the health that you have. You are grateful for this for the very fact that you are existing in this body, in your body, where you get to use your arms and your legs and you get to use your brain to interact with this world. That's what a master's like. But you have to forgive yourself first, so then you can purge all the garbage out, and then you can fill your mind, your body, and your spirit back up with the life that you want for yourself. And once that happens, life becomes heavenly. You bring heaven to earth.